All right. I think we're live. Hey, what's up, everybody?
It's the only place to be, baby.
Exactly. My name is KillJS907, and I am a grumpy Raider fan. That's all we can say. And to my left is the man, the myth, the legend, our capo, Aaron, the Q Dog Raider.
Kill Jadis, it's an honor. I do surrender that former title, uh, but I appreciate the love. Let's talk some Raiders, homie.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the first ever episode of the Sin City 7. There are 7 of us, much like the Avengers, much like the Justice League, that have come together. Number one, we are Raider fans. Number two, we don't sugarcoat things. We're gonna tell you how it is. If we see the Ace of Spades, we're gonna tell you it's the Ace of Spades. If it's the Nine of Diamonds, we'll tell you it's the Nine of Diamonds. That's just how we are. We are pretty much not the guys that are going to bring you the lighter side of the dark side. We're not going to do that. We tell you how it
No,
is. And unlike some Raider fans, we actually respect each other's opinions. We agree to disagree.
oh yeah, no censorship.
And there is never any time are we going to say, hey, you can't have that because I'm the authority and something. We don't do that here. We're just a bunch of dudes that love the
No,
Raiders,
we don't do that at all.
and we're going to talk about it. All right.
All 7 of us at the
All
same
7 of
time.
us. Exactly. There's only 2 of us now. In the future, hopefully, we can get all 7 together. Almost like the Infinity Gauntlet and Thanos, but was just with the Raiders.
That's right.
So let me go ahead and start off with something positive here. I'm gonna have us do something a little bit positive here. One positive thing that's going on in my life right now, guys, is I passed my FAA written test, and I'm going to further my climb to become a commercial pilot. That's one good thing that's happening in my personal life. Q, what is one thing that is going on in your personal life that's good?
Well, uh, like you, I mean, it's about time to reach the next step in the old career ladder. So, being up for promotion, I mean, it's a source of excitement. Um, the pinnacle of where I started in my career. So that sits upon me. That might come with relocation. We don't know. But one thing that will remain true is being a Raider fan. I share that with you, and we share that with a nation of folks dedicated to a commitment of excellence that has kind of been dwarfed in the past decade or so. Um, I tell a small story. Um, I went into an establishment to get a bottle, um, form your own conclusion what that bottle might actually have in it. And then I come across a brother wearing a gray and black San Francisco 49er hat. Now, I couldn't help
Damn.
myself, so I'm calling this clown out. I say, hey, man, aren't your colors like red and gold? And he kind of looks at me like, what's it to you? But notice he has to look up to do it. So yeah, man, come with it, man. What's your rebuttal? He's like, man, you don't understand, blah blah blah, yada yada. So I started tuning out, man, because this guy obviously was a clown. So I'm like, see, that's part and parcel to a lot of teams adopting black as their color scheme, as an alternative uniform. I said, the silver and black, we never do that. We've had one set of colors, albeit 1960 to 61, where we came out blue and gold when we were in LA. But Al came to his senses, that genius, and he came up with a color scheme that is an unrivaled color scheme, monochromatic it may be, that everybody wants to emulate, including this clown that I saw in this store. So he goes on, and then eventually he starts ragging on when's the last time he went to a Super Bowl and everything like that. I said, it doesn't matter. The fact is, you're making my point for me. Men like Jadis, men like myself, it doesn't matter what our record is. We're devoted to this team. We don't need to be on a record wave or, you know, a win streak or a recent Super Bowl, i.e., insert all of these Johnny come lately new money Kansas City Chief fans that you see everywhere. You know, our time is coming, and I do believe we're on the precipice of getting back to where we were, even with Josh McDaniels at helm. I like what Ziggs is doing as far as bringing talent, retaining talent, weeding out talent that needs to go by the wayside from the organization. But Jimmy G, like you, like a lot of folks, hey, that didn't give me that nice stiff feeling in the morning whenever they said that he was our new quarterback. But the more that I watch, especially this first past week of training camp, the way that he's interacting with the guys on the team, the way that uh, 98 is already all in with him. I mean, when Max signs off on this guy, he must be doing something in the locker room. Then we get, MP, the next 24. Things are starting to converge. And then I don't know about you listening to any podcasts or live radio from the sports talking heads. Man, the disrespect. I mean, you can actually take a knife and spread it on your piece of bread. I mean, it is thick, it is warm, it is nasty, it's repugnant. And I've said before, and much to my chagrin, the comeback tour. We called it 2020. We called it 2021, 2022. It might be here this season. Just low key. What we do with these first four games, Kill Jadis, give me a prognostication. It's a tough part of our schedule, but if we make it through the first four games, I think we might be on the inside track, baby. What you think?
I'm thinking that it's definitely going to be a hard fought first couple of 4 weeks. Honestly, as I would rather that we have a hard schedule because that's what's going to get teams to get them ready for the playoffs. So they're not just throwing these soft little jabs and everything. No, they're going to be throwing them crisp. It's going to snap.
That's right.
It's going to pop. So if we
And we
can
got
at
three
least if
Yeah, three
if
of our first four on the road, and I think the one home game that we got, I think it's an early matchup with the Steelers. I could be off, but I think that bodes well for us. Get away from the home confines. We don't need to see equal parts visiting team, home team in the stands, or heaven forbid, um, an overwhelming uh, bowl full of visiting teams. We go on the road. We handle our business. We circle the wagons, and I really got us in good shape heading towards the latter part of the schedule. We're talking December, January, because we have, for whatever reason, a lot of back-to-back home games in the middle stretches, weeks I think 6 through 11, uh, back at Allegiant. Man, things are lining up regardless of how tough it is, and I really appreciate the value you two put on having a tough schedule. That tough schedule comes early, and we're going to make our most improvements during that first month. And the home schedule is going to be accommodating for us to catch our stride for a playoff run. Now, what's your highlight as far as heading into the early preseason with training camp? What's caught your eye, Kiljadas?
mainly for me, it's been the addition to of Marcus Peters from the
Yes.
Ravens, just because I am defensive minded the
Okay.
entire way. I've been like that since growing up. I don't know. I take great pride when I look at that scoreboard and I'm saying, you know what? We held them to that many points. Especially if you hold them just to a field goal or something like that. That rocks my socks, dude. And with Marcus Peters, yes, he needs some work on his man-to-man coverage, but I think that's going to bolster our defense to get it to where it needs to be. We need a top 10 defense.
Yes.
Defense wins Super Bowls. Offense win many games, but defense wins Super Bowls. And that is the main highlight that I have. Yeah, I saw Max Crosby and all that stuff, but nothing stood out to me until finally when MP was signed, I was like, okay, this is it. This is gonna be it. Look
You
at you.
know, it's been over 4 seasons since we lost the last great number 24. And I'm not talking about the cup of coffee that Marshawn gave us, but I'm talking about C. Woody. Um,
Yes.
he he of the bourbon fame as of late. But with Marcus Peters coming on board, we now have an OG in the locker room for that secondary. We finally got another one, and I think it's what's needed. I mean, Hobbs, it was just too early in his career for him to be lead dog. Merrick, he's just an introvert by nature, which doesn't lend himself to being that lead dog in the secondary. Now we've got that guy that we need, and I think once we get that short up, I'm really excited to see what our linebacking core is going to shape up looking like. I think we're going to acquire another linebacker. You can bank this to solidify the linebacking core. I know we got Diablo. He's going to come in playing the will linebacker. We got the kid from Pittsburgh. I forget what his name is. I'm looking right at him. But as far as that Sam linebacker, I think there's some talent that we can drop into the mix to solidify that, that linebacking core. And what we need is pass rush from that linebacking core, as well as coverage ability. And if we can do those two things, I'm excited about the defensive line from side to side. This defense can be respectable. You want a top 10? I give you a top 15 before we play game one. And they have to play their way into your top 10, Kill Jadis.
I'm gonna have to agree with you with that one because I mean, yeah, definitely in the first, it's always the same for every single team for every single season is that their defense doesn't get uh, good enough for a head start. So you see all these offensive numbers just suddenly popping out of nowhere. It's normally during the later stages of the season. That's when the defense will start digging in, and you'll see the defensive numbers get better. That's just how it is.
Now we've kind of highlighted the good. What makes you grumpy as far as the defensive prospect?
I'm still trying to find someone that can cover kills.
Oh man, yeah.
I
I
am.
tell you what can cover bills, and this is just for entertainment purposes. A guy with a high-powered scope on a 306 that can take out his knee with a damn rhino trank. That's what we need in order to cover this motherfucker. But I digress.
Honestly, like I don't know if anyone's tried this tactic, but I think I figured out a way to guard Kels, and that is you get normally the position to cover tight ends is the linebacker. Well, you line a linebacker up right in front of Kels on the line.
Yes.
Once the ball is hiked, that linebacker better go up and pop him. Give him
Yeah.
one good pop. Two if
Yeah.
needs be. One pop to make sure that he does not gain any traction. Because after all, what's the average seconds that a quarterback needs to get the ball off?
3.5 seconds.
3.5 seconds. If you can get Patrick Mahomes, aka Kermit the Frog, to hold
Yeah.
that ball for 4.5 to 5.5 seconds, he's going down because sooner or later, Max Crosby is going to get to him.
There's no question about that.
And again,
So
as I said though, what you do is you
he
you pop him. You
Right.
pop him once or twice
got a
on the
problem,
line.
man.
After that, as soon as he starts, then that's when you stick on him like crap on Velcro. Just stick to him. He doesn't, there is no juke moves that he can do that can
No.
shake people's ankles. He's not.
No matter how fast you press B, it ain't gonna help.
And so all you have to do is just stick to him like crap on Velcro, then you easily got him. Now, the other players, again, we need to have our top defensive backs being on the other wide receivers and everything.
Yes.
But I would rather that Patrick Mahomes targets those other wide receivers, because sooner or
Yes,
later
sir.
they're either A, going to drop the ball, or B, Patrick Mahomes is gonna force something and he's gonna get picked off, or he's gonna get
You know,
sacked.
Kadarius Toney, he is a little bit concerning as far as, I guess, a target B for them. This little Pacheco water bug. I mean,
Yes.
he's tough coming out of the backfield. He's a little, you know, he's active. I think what you're describing is we need a goon a la hockey to go up and match up against Kelsey. Or I like how you said Kels. Yeah,
Well, that's how.
he's Kels. He's got
Yeah,
to earn
that's
the,
it.
and we need a goon. Now, where we get this goon from parts unknown, I just can't speak to it. But I like the way you're thinking. Somebody needs to jam him immediately, and then some needs to come over the top within that first 4 yard window and actually, uh, put that shiver on him or body him or, just redirect him in some manner before he can release. We affect his release. I think I know what you're talking about. We impact all of the Walrus's timing predicated offense because you throw the timing off. That's why we were able to come out last season down as we were and take that 20-0 lead against them. Now, it speaks, to the lack of talent that Graham had to work with that we couldn't maintain it, and even more of an expose on Carr's inability to sustain leads. You got the hottest running back, like we talked about before we went live. Why don't you utilize him more? If they're jamming the box, then fine. Get him out in space and let JJ cook. I mean, it's just so much as far as the offense and the lack of command that Carr demonstrated with it last season that contributed to all of those single digit losses, of which we had seven.
And if you
So you
and
go
you
6-11 with seven close losses. You turn that around, even if you split it, you still go 9-7, or excuse me, 9-8, and have a winning season.
not only
Leave
that,
it dirty, dude.
yeah, but not only that, but think about this. Andy Reid loves his screens.
Oh
He
yeah,
loves them so much. Whether it be a wide receiver screen, a halfback screen, does not matter. He loves those screens. Who is someone that he can throw short to that can get you a couple of yards? Travis Kelce, which is actually how you. Which that's it's funny how everyone keeps calling him Kelsey, but in an interview he says no, my name's Kels. It's like, oh yeah, I'm going to call you by your actual name. I'm not going to do the. I'm not going to call you by a name that seems like that seems somewhat endearing.
I know. Is that us putting respect on his name? Are we doing that? Damn it, man.
I'm gonna say no because that's just me calling him by his actual name because he is after all the villain. You know, if you
So you going old
if
school hood.
yeah if
So his mama call him Kels, so we're gonna call him Kels too.
hmm,
His
exactly.
mama calls Travis Kels. Okay, I see where you're going with
Yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah.
Okay.
If Thanos had a last name, everyone would be saying Thanos' last name with his first name, but they don't. It's just Thanos. So we need to do the same thing with Kels.
Did you know that Thanos was related to John Stamos? His last name is Stamos. It's
Hmm.
Thanos Van Stamos.
Oh, okay. I did not know about
The
that.
Van is silent. Yeah, it's actually spelled with a W, man. It's mad German and shit, man.
Hmm.
But we need to get back to Raider talk. So
So
now that we've talked about the good with the upcoming defense, what makes you grumpy with the coming defense, let's take a hard pivot and talk about our special team play, which contributed mightily to us losing those close games. What do you see as needing to improve with our special teams? Everything not being named, of course, our premier field goal kicker, but we're talking our punt return game, our punting game, our ability to stop, I guess, the opposition from attaining good field position. We really sucked win on special teams last year. What do you want to see in the offseason?
I want to see a better at punting. punting in general. Now, AJ Cole is a really good punter, and he punts. He's been a great replacement to Leckler. However, the other guys need to get to that guy as quick as possible. So, I mean, I want to see nothing but fair catches, or the ball being going bouncing down and taking a friendly bounce. If we,
Well,
because again, there's some wide receivers, they're not that good, but then there are some of those receivers that you don't want them touching the ball, kind of like Jackson was for the Eagles. You didn't want him to touch the ball at all. But
special teams is kind of like defense. You want to be strong up the middle, and us losing number 47 Trent C is going to impact our ability to get that ball snap quickly and punt it deeply. So they
which
better know what
is
the hell they're doing.
which that was yeah, that was one thing that boggled my mind. Was just like
You don't get
I,
better by losing one of the top long snappers in the league, but if it's a cost saving measure, I mean, they better have had a gym in the, you know, a gym in the background.
yep. But I mean, to me, the our field goals unit has been good. Everything else has been good. Just needs to be that other thing.
Now we drafted the kid in, I believe it was the sixth round, the linebacker out of Florida. He doesn't really move the needle, but I'm interested to see what they do with him on special teams, the linebacker. And of course, us losing, I forget what the guy's name is, but our number two wideout last year, number 10, I forget what his name is. We lost him to Atlanta. I mean, he was an excellent gunner. And I'm just really concerned with what we're going to do as far as bringing fast talent on the wings to gun down and basically stop returns before they can actually build steam. If we win and consistently maintain field position, I think that improved defense won't be as pressed or as stressed as far as trying to get the ball back to the offense. But overall, man, we talked defense, we talked a little special teams. Now let's get to the actual meat on the bone. I guess we could start with our running back in the running back situation. Prognosticate. What do you think is going to happen with the JJ situation?
Now, before we introduce that, though, let me give a shout out to Pirate 1975. He says
Oh
even
man,
he says
that was
even
soft spoken.
he says evening fellas. I'm a die-hard fan, as you know, and I hope I'm wrong, but I'm feeling 8-8 at best. I just don't believe in Josh McDaniels. Tell me I'm wrong. I ain't gonna tell you. I ain't gonna tell you.
All right, here's my answer to that. I think Pirates 1975 is 1,000% correct. But in week 18, we're actually going to go from 8-8 to 9-8 by end of the season by beating the either Donkeys or the Superchargers. I forget who's last on our schedule. It actually might be the Chiefs, if I'm not mistaken. It's one of those three teams, and then we'll go 9-8, and then Pirate 1975. Even though you were true to a point, and I got the Raiders pulling it out. Josh McDaniels gets a clue. We end up going 9-8. We narrowly miss the playoffs if that's the case. And you know what? We at least have a winning season and respectability.
All right, but now on the Josh Jacobs. We were going to be talking about this sooner or later. We definitely we need to realize, especially Josh McDaniels, is that we cannot have a pass only offense that relies heavily on the arm of the quarterback, nor should we be focused on doing nothing but the run game like the Titans have, like Derrick Henry. Josh Jacobs is a phenomenal running back. We need to make sure that he's included just as much as we're throwing the ball. And unfortunately, if we can just utilize him enough, we're going to be just fine. Although, let's face it, we possibly need to break into Josh Jacobs' house and get him to sign that contract. Just a,
Well, here's my thought
a
on that too, Davis. Whenever Saquon Barkley signed his contract or whatever, under the franchise tag, he automatically shifted the market more so into the team's hands. So really, his number one ally being Saquon, Jacobs is now forced with the realization that the market is just suddenly self-corrected. He has zero leverage, and that he's ultimately going to have to sign and get his ass into camp for at least week 3, and let's start playing some ball. Now we've got the emerging issue growing out of Indianapolis, where their star running back is at odds with ownership, and I just say, why not? Let's pursue the opportunity to trade for an even younger back and have a clean sweep. Ursay, you know how he likes the pharmaceuticals. He might catch him in a moment of weakness, and you know, Ziggs can orchestrate a trade, man. Stranger things have happened.
You know what? And that's the one thing that Josh Jacobs needs to realize is that the market for running backs is no longer how it was back in the old days. You're just not going to get that Emmett Smith, Barry Sanders, and other phenomenal running back contracts anymore. You're just not going to get that anymore. So Josh Jacobs just needs to be humble. You know, he may hold out, but that's only going to damage himself.
Hold out for what?
He's gonna
I think,
he won't get 10
I
he
think it was
that
Ramon sent us a graphic where they had slotted the actual position groups by salaries, and he said that the running backs were third from the bottom. They were actually second from the bottom. They only eclipsed, I think it was punters and safeties. I mean, field goal kickers are making more on average than running backs, and that was kind of mind-boggling. So, I mean, these are just raw stats, empirical data. So you really can't fight that. You may be the best of a dying breed, man. So basically, if you got anywhere 10 million annually plus, dude, you need to sign that tender and run with it, literally.
exactly. All right. But yeah, I mean, so and of course we also got the quarterback situation, which you know, that that little Giants movie. You know that little nerdy kid that at one point went home. Well, he played like one practice. He went back home, and then his mother wrapped him around with saran wrap or whatever that that foam padding or something like that. He just comes waddling back and everything.
Okay.
I think we need like I almost think we need to do that for Jimmy Garoppolo until he's proven otherwise that he's healthy.
Yeah, yeah.
But I mean,
He's
they
definitely
claim they
flash
claim
on the field.
they claim that he's doing that things are looking crisp when he's on the field,
Yeah.
which I'm kind of like okay, but that's that to me that's hype. Like I'll see it, I'll believe it when I actually see it, when they actually
Yeah.
start playing.
But I mean, I don't know. I'm with you on that, Kill Jadis. It is hyperbole, but it is that time of year. I mean, everyone is 0-0. Everyone has the same arms reach to the Super Bowl trophy. So, yeah, no matter what comes out of camp, positive, negative, or just tight lipped, let's play some ball, man. We've got right at 2 months before the season starts, man. Can't wait. Can't wait.
All right. Okay, so let me go ahead and put a pause on that roof for a few minutes, guys. It is saying that my remaining meeting time is starting to run out. There's a countdown
All right.
about that. So we'll take a few minutes. I'm gonna start a new meeting, and then we'll get right back into it. I think since I had it on the meeting on for like the past 2 hours for everyone to join, that might over it up. So We'll be right back, guys, with more.
After this commercial message.
Yeah. Till then, enjoy a little bit of the beginning here.
Go Raiders, mother's favorite team.
Yeah.
All right, Grumpy Raider 2, Electric Boogaloo.
All right, we're back. So here we go with the chat. Pirates 1975 says Mark Davis trying to revive the past too much. I want a no-name young new coach with fresh ideas. We tried to revive the Gruden train, and now we're trying to revive the 2000s Patriot train. Take a chance, Mark. I mean, he ain't wrong. There's
No, man,
it,
1975 is on fire. But the unknown coach was Basakia. He may not have been young, but I think he was on to something.
I mean, honestly, he had a culture where teams would just run through a freaking steel wall for him, much like how it was with that Detroit Lions head coach that they have now. I mean,
Yeah.
if no player is willing to do that for their coach, I mean, take a look at. I mean, honestly, the 1970s Raiders team with John Madden, those players would kill for their coach. They would die, they would kill, they'd do whatever they can.
That's right. He only had 3 rules, and they loved him for it.
So, I mean, that's what it is for that. So, yeah, that's what I have going on for the offense. Is I'm hoping that, again, Josh Jacobs, he needs to be run the ball more. Jimmy Garoppolo needs to be healthy, and hopefully, and oh yeah, another thing though also is Hunter Renfro. Not Hunter Renfro needs to bulk up. He needs to hit the weight room. We need Hunter Renfro to catch the ball and try to go for more yards and not just fall down like how he was with Derek Carr. Now, granted, there was times where he was he was almost like diving after balls because Derek Carr was throwing it down too low, but still.
See, now you've touched a nerve, Kiljanus.
Ah.
You're making me grumpy. Yeah. Game 2 of the season. We go into overtime.
Oh
We're
no.
playing the hapless Arizona Cardinals. So all of a sudden, this guy, Renfro, he wants to be a badass. He catches a 7-yard out, then he turns upfield, and then he's got his leg that's clearly in the grasp of the defender, and he wants to fight for more yardage. He does what any run carrier should never do. If you have zero momentum, you do not put your head down because you cannot see oncoming tacklers. But Hey, this superstar, he does it, exposing the ball. Right, look, he didn't have the ball in the breadbasket with two hands. He had it in his right arm, chicken wing. He gets blasted. They get the ball and they run it back for a touchdown. Then all of a sudden, he starts having female problems and he's on the shelf for the bulk of the remainder of the season. Yet he had set the tone of losing in game two. I parked that with him because his BFF wasn't quite the same moving forward. Proof and point, I guess game three, me and a lot of the Raiders, we got together. We had the RFR reunion. Should have named it, but a lot of us got together and we went out there and we lost 22-20 to those stiffs, the Titans, and it was just ridiculous. And DC4 was off because his safety blanket, and it wasn't Waller, but his safety blanket was no longer there. And then the losing streak just snowballed from there. It was terrible. And you can't really understand how bad the Raiders offense looked until you saw it in person, not with reverse angles and replays, but actually see the matchups across the field. And there's no reason in the world where A, we should have lost to the Cardinals, and B, should have lost to the Titans on the road with the talent that we were rolling out. It was just ridiculous. And Hollins was the name of the guy that I couldn't remember his name, our number 2 receiver from last year. That was a top flight gunner. So that's just my 2 cents. And I appreciate you for bringing up that bad memory.
Yeah, well, the main thing that I can't help but think, but remember, is just simply Josh Jacobs running his route wrong and deciding to collide into Adams, who probably would have gotten a huge.
Was that the Kansas City game?
Yes,
That happened?
yes.
Yeah.
Last play of the
Could have come
game.
back and won that. So for a smart player, I mean, Renfro definitely, in what little time he played, made some major boneheaded gaffes last year.
Mm-hmm.
But it goes under the radar because we talk about a lot of the more prominent Raiders and what they did wrong. But Renfro in limited action did more to undermine our winning season than just about anybody.
Mm-hmm.
How you feeling about Waller? You miss him yet?
No, I don't miss him. I'll let me say this. I miss Waller from 2 years ago.
Sure.
2 years ago, yeah.
Before he was doing rap videos.
Before he decided to put out
COVID events.
Garbage.
When the league said that you can't have any gatherings.
Garbage rap song. Oh my god. Like I took like I had to force myself to listen to the entire song. It was I might rather listen to Antonio Brown's rap records than listen to Darren Waller's. I don't know.
You know, I was thinking the same thing, man. What are they waiting on? They need to have a rap battle.
And then of course when he catches a touchdown and everything, he starts pointing to his toe like turf toe, like no one's feeling it. He could have done a rap song about the Raiders. It would have popped off. Guarantee you. But he was doing what every other rapper does and talks about money and all this other stuff. Ain't worth it.
So we don't miss Waller. Renfro's a big question mark. JJ is in definite need to come to his senses. Garoppolo, I mean,
wrap him in bubble wrap.
Really. So let's talk rookies, man. Which rookie has you, I guess, most amped, and what rookie has you most grumpy?
I'm looking forward to our new tight end.
Mayer. Okay.
Yep. I think that he's gonna do decent for us. Okay. I can see some potential in him. I'm kind of more of a wait and see when it comes to our new defensive lineman. Just because like, you know, we say they
I
say,
mean,
yeah, they're saying, oh, look at his wingspan, look at Max's wingspan. They're basically the same. They'll cover the entire plasting area, but I'm like, let's. I mean, we thought that way with Kuntz. We thought that way with
oh yeah,
with
Kuz.
we
I was
thought
thinking about him too earlier.
we
I don't think Kuz made this team.
yep. I mean, heck, we think about how much we hyped up a certain player that we will not name because you
My
like to,
number 52.
that certain player that you like to spell out his last name. We're not going to mention that, but we hyped him up so much, and then the fact that he underperformed that badly throughout the years. Yeah, he had a couple of nice plays that he did, but he wasn't great, and he only made a couple plays. Charles Woodson says you need to be great and make plays. He was not great, and he only made a couple plays.
Yeah, yeah. He'll always have that fourth down stop. Who was that we were playing? I think it was like Minnesota or somebody. But anyway, he's gone. From the moment they announced his name, I knew it was a mistake.
Yeah. And honestly, I'm not really poo poo about any of our rookies just because it seems like you need to give them that 2 year wait to see how they do. Once the 2 years are up, then it's like, okay, reevaluate, find out which person's trash, which one's good to keep. Like kind of like how some of our rookies, such as that one player,
Yeah.
and
Number
and
99.
yeah, and that fake number 24 that
Well,
we
he
are.
goes readily to mind. Sometimes you don't need a full season's worth of video to
You're true.
figure out
You're
somebody
absolutely
is
right on.
trash. Jeez.
Like again, so much hype and did not get and got no results in.
Zero. He'll always have that game where he tackled the golf cart. Full speed heading towards the sideline.
He
He whiffs the tackle,
he's
but he tackles the golf cart. You can't make that up, man.
he he
So,
he reminds me of he almost reminds me of the Juggernaut from X-Men. The Juggernaut
okay.
where it's just straight full forward, can't turn,
Yeah.
and so he was just like he's like full blown head first and right into that golf cart. Like that, what was it, that third X-Men movie? He went right. He was crashing through walls, and as soon as he even
Right.
approached that one guy that could nullify mutant powers, clunk, right into the wall. That's what that reminds
Juggernaut
me
wasn't
of.
even a mutant. Yeah.
Yep.
He wasn't even a mutant. I liken Abram more to like the Tasmanian devil. He just gets a whole bunch of momentum and you know no real rhyme or reason. He's just going crazy in the backfield. He sucks. But anyway, we'll accentuate the
Yeah.
positive. So the rookies all look good in our estimation. I'm really trying to see what Aiden O'Connor is going to do. O'Donnell, Aiden, you know, Officer Farva. I mean, this guy, they say he was one of the steals of the draft. I much would have preferred us getting the quarterback out of Houston, uh, the Cougar. I forget what his name is, but whatever, man. We got Aiden O'Connell, and we'll see what goes down with his development. Now, what I'm not excited about is taking Hoyer. I think Hoyer, hell, I'm 50, and he's got to be at least a class or two behind me. How old is this guy? He is ancient, bro.
I don't know, and I did not like that we picked him up. I mean, I thought there had been some other
Yeah.
washed up veteran quarterback that we could have used, but because he was an expatriate, he got chosen, and it's like,
But okay, you got Jacoby Brissett, who's a former Patriot, serviceable, not over the hill. Why not go after him? And then if you needed just a camp arm, why are we signing Hoyer to a 2 year deal? I like a lot of things that Ziggs has done. This one gets a huge question mark. Huge. What you doing, bro?
Yep. Well, Pirate
So,
1975 says before he left and everything, he said Derek Carr is gonna go deep in the playoffs this year. The only reason he is moved to a trash division. I don't hate Carr, but he wasn't good enough for the AFC West. Let's go with our final thoughts. Our final thoughts on number 4, because I am sick and tired of having his name in my mouth and in my brain. Hugh, do you have any thoughts on your final? What are your final thoughts on DC4?
well, my final thoughts came a long time ago. Unlike a lot of guys that were affiliated with us on another platform, um, I was excited about the pick way back in 2014. We got the guy I thought he was the steal of the draft in the second round out of Fresno State. In his second year, he ends up taking us um, on a really good run, culminated with his season-ending injury at the hands of the Colts, and we fizzled out from there in our second to last playoff appearance. So, having said that, from that point on, it was apparent to the even untrained eye that this guy wasn't the same because his killer instinct, much of which was fueled by Crabtree's um, King Crab, number 15, his ability to make the big play in the big moment, validating DC4. So we get rid of King Crab after DC4's injury, and you never quite see what little um, what little bit of swashbuckler that he had in him. Those of us that have been Raiders fans of a particular age, we liked those quarterbacks, the Rich Gannons, of course, Snake Stabler. We liked what we saw whenever we had a quarterback that was willing to go out there and dial it up. Carr ceased to be that guy many seasons ago. So now what you've got is not even a system quarterback because his system kept revolving. A lot of his apologists chalking up to, well, he's had multiple offensive coordinators and coaches. Okay. So did Peyton Manning. Uh, so what? So did the other Manning, Eli, that we talked about before the show. Um, so did uh, the fertile one, Philip Rivers. Congratulations on baby Ted. You needed a boy and you got
Oh.
him. So did a lot of players in the Professional Football League. We talked about it before. I'll reiterate. You are supposed to be one of the 32 best at your position in the world. Why in the world can't you have at least a little bit of dog in you? And DC4 for many years hadn't had that dog in you. Talk about leadership all the time. You have all the tools, you have all the traits. Yeah, your pre-game speeches and stuff are a little canned because everybody knows you're not that guy. Why did we lose AB? The main reason we lost AB was he got up close and personal with Carter. Like, man, this guy's soft. I can't roll with this guy. So he goes out and picks a fight with Money Mayock and gets his way off of our roster. You start looking at the guys that we failed to bring in as free agents over the year. I mean, you look at them across the board. Nobody wanted to saddle up and play with this guy. The only person that did so was Devontae Adams. And after 1 year, his collegiate roommate, best friend, gets shipped off unceremoniously. You didn't really have too many strong statements by DA 17 trying to defend the guy. It's like, damn, I was with this guy every day. Man, I'm not winning the Super Bowl with this guy. So yeah, he did the political thing, but man, he didn't really get out of sorts. He didn't make any demands to be traded because he lost his guy. He's like, man, you almost sounded like Singletary. He's like, can't do it. Can't win with him. I can't win with him.
Yeah.
So that's just my 2 cents on it. Honestly, if I had to sum up Derek Carr, great talent, great man of faith, very intelligent, all the arm talent. He's just a P blank SSY. That's it. He ain't tough, and you need toughness to win in the NFL. That's it.
All I have to say is, again, Derek Carr, yeah, when Rich Gannon got hurt and he was forced to retire, yeah, it was been a long period of time where I was like, where I'm sure you were the same way, but it was like, where is our quarterback? Derek showed up, and for the first time in a long time, I was like, this is our quarterback.
But check this
But
out,
then,
Calzadis. You make a great point. Gannon was offered not once but twice the opportunity to be our offensive coordinator and once our quarterbacks coach, and he wanted nothing to do with DC4.
true,
Do you remember that?
yes,
He wanted nothing to do with it. That's revealing right there.
yeah,
But
and
we're wrong.
again, as you said, his faith, the way he is off the field, phenomenal guy. He's the kind of person you want to have to lead you to a Super Bowl. But reality check, those kind of people don't get you to a Super Bowl,
Hey,
especially
Phil Rivers
with.
is the same way. How many rings has he got?
But honestly, again, yeah, it sucks. To me, again, it was kind of like being in a long term relationship, and
Sure.
you are, and you realize that you no matter how hard you fight to make it right, to make it keep going, you finally realize this ain't it for us.
Yeah.
The relationship is over. Did you go about the breakup the right way? No. You
But
did
is there a better way?
you definitely did. Was there, I mean, was there going to be a good way to end it where it's good for both parties? Maybe, maybe not. Either way, when you go and you finally depart with this partner of yours, suddenly they found a new they gotten themselves in a new relationship, and now they are publicly talking trash about you
Him and his
when you ain't
brother.
around.
So the organization that picked you gave you opportunity after opportunity, then sits you the last two regular season games so that you don't hurt yourself to optimize your ability to get you a contract at your next, team and opportunity. Instead, you want to go sad sack it and undermine that team's ability to replace you, who primed you to greener pasture and land on your feet down in New Orleans with a stacked receiving core, a above average running back core, a solid offensive line, and a great defense. This is what the Raiders gifted you for your years of service. Sorry, things aren't working out. We're going to put you in prime position for you to get all of that I just stated. And on your way out the door, you handicap based upon a clause in your contract the Raiders' ability in order to leverage replacing you. How is that loyalty to the nation? Then you want to send an apology and thank you via video after all was said and done. Basically, what you were doing was, I screwed you all over as Raider Nation on my way out the door. I crapped on the organization. I sucked my thumb. I kicked rocks, but I love you guys. No, what you did was you showed that you are not the Christian you professed yourself to be. You failed to turn the other cheek. You were not meek on your way out the door. You didn't break bread so that the nation could eat. Instead, you took your two fishes and two loaves and you put them in your knapsack and you took it to the house. And then you wonder why your wife was crying because you starved the nation. We're not forgiving like that. And here's another thing as a man of faith. What is it? Uh, Philippians 3:16. Um, Through Christ, I can do all things. Hey, that's like a basic prayer right there. That is a basic eating. And if you were such a Christian, you would have sacked up at the end of games. You would have not just reached the ball out and fumbled it through the end zone. No, you'd have tucked that thing over, put your head down, and then ran through the opposition. You don't do these things. Where is your courage? Heaven helps those who help themselves. What have you done to help yourself on the field other than throw the ball away and then do these hand gestures, kind of pseudo blaming your receivers for either not running the right route or not coming back to the ball? What have you done in order to extend plays? You know
And
what you've done to extend plays? You've happy feeded it, and then you just waited for somebody to touch you so you can go down. I've watched that for 9 seasons, and I think I watched enough.
and you see
Give it to me.
him and you see him doing that finger pointing on the field. But as soon as he gets
Oh,
into the
sure.
press box, that's on me. That's on me.
Yeah.
The defense didn't fail to stop them from scoring. That's on me. That's on me. How? We need you to actually be a leader and be a cutthroat. You didn't do it. And you know what? Even more so during his career, the way that you show that you're a great player and not just a good player is you're able to do good no matter who is your offensive coordinator. Whoever's making the plays, it's up to you to execute those plays to perfection. If you're not executing those plays to perfection,
I think back to his whole act, and I call it an act because faith without works is dead. That's awful biblical.
yes.
So you profess your faith, but when it comes time to put the work in, from one to yard 100, 53 and a third yards across, when it's time for you to go out there and actually compete, battle, if you will, where is all this conviction at? Where is all this faith put into action? We didn't see it. You know, I think back to somebody who wore his faith on his sleeve and still came up a champion times two, Kurt Warner. See, Derek Carr claims to be what Kurt Warner really was.
Yes.
And Kurt Warner, everyone knew his faith, but he wasn't always throwing it in your face every doggone press conference. He just went out there and did it. He knew what his light was, his North Star, and he went to it. Hell or high water. But Derek Carr proclaimed to be that guy and always shrunk in the biggest moments. I think back to the 2019 game where we were playing for our chance to make the playoffs and lost. That was the index card game against the Cowboys. We came up short that game, and that smug bastard, what's his name, Gene
Yeah.
Steratore,
Yeah.
and he gave the Cowboys that first down. Now, if you can fit any object between the nose of the ball and the chain, that means it's short of the line to gain.
Well,
So he puts a card, unfolds it up, and he still sticks it. He literally defies the rules and then calls the game against
that's
the Raiders.
that's the thing.
Oh,
That's not even in the rule book at all for officials. Like
yeah, right.
being a high school football official myself,
Okay.
and everything. I've looked in the high school rule book, I've looked in the college rule book, and I've also looked in the referee rule, the NFL rule book. None of it said is if you can't find if you don't know if it's the first down or not, put an index card down. No, it's
Yeah.
you gotta eyeball it. Doesn't matter how close you're going to get. You can get all the way up into here.
Yeah.
You can't use any other kind of tool to measure. You gotta go with your eyeballs.
Sounds like a
But
foreign object.
yeah. But either way, though, for Carr, the fact that he no that he, again, it was one of those things where you thought it was going to be a good breakup, but then he just started talking smack, and now
Yeah.
it's just and now it
Unprovoked.
and it went from Chris Brown's "It Ain't the Right Time to Say Goodbye," to finally it's Trey Songz of "You Ain't Shit, You Ain't Shit." That, like, that's the only thing I can say now. Is he gonna he's gonna have to, like, if he wants to become back or everything, like later on when he's retired and everything and does a little hoopla, whew, you better be
Yeah.
doing some apologizing. South Park style, apologize. But that is just another example, though, of Derek Carr being one of the people that helped the collapse of the Raiders. Let me get into another portion that I've been wanting to talk about. I did this video last week. I actually calculated the numbers. The de-evolution of our team, I should say. Think about it. I went and put together this Excel sheet and actually calculated. For the longest time since 1976, or was it 73? No. Basically when we first won the Super Bowl.
76.
Yeah, 76. We became the number one team historically in the AFC West. We had a better win record against all of our rivals. We had more wins than everyone. And
Highest winning percentage in sports.
yes, and at one point we actually had tied. Now, basically, we tied in Super Bowl wins, but we had the Chiefs on all these other things. From 1976, you see us going up, 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 up. Here is something I'm going to share. Let's see if I can share this real quick. Screen 2. Let me share this. You see that?
Yeah.
This is us at our peak. It was at 1991. We had 307 wins compared to, look at how big that number is compared to the rest of our adversaries. 341 for the Chiefs, 233 for the Broncos, 230 for the Chargers. We had 12 division titles compared to 3, 7, and 8 for the other guys. And we had 3 Super Bowls compared to only 1 with the Chiefs. Here's our record right there. 35-29-2 for the Chiefs, 43-19-2 for the Broncos, 41-24-2 for the Chargers. Here's our rivalries right here. We swept them. We were better than all of them compared to the Chiefs who again lost to us. They're doing better than the Broncos, but yet they sucked against the Chargers. Actually, they tied the Chargers in record. We were number one. Since 1976, we become number one. This is our record now in 2022-2023 season. Look at how much these guys caught up to us. The Broncos have more wins, and the Chiefs have more wins. We're all tied in division titles, tied in Super Bowls. The Chiefs have the better of us with their record, which they just, I mean, they're almost at 20. And now we're suddenly at number 2. The fact,
Yeah, it's like the Family Guy.
like
Go
honestly,
ahead, man.
it took all the, like, let's give a hand for the Chiefs, who finally a team finally caught up to us and end up beating us and everything. They are now historically the better team.
Okay.
Here's
So
the funny
here's my little-
here's the funny thing about that, which I'll end it with this way, because I want to share some goodness out of it. We had that, it was that bad for us for that long, to where from 1991 to 2023 they finally caught up to us and stuff like that. But you know what? There's a chance that we can actually do better. All we have to do, win the division, win a Super Bowl that same year, and suddenly we're back to number 1. That's all it takes. And it's up to the Raiders to step it up and be a thorn in the side of the Chiefs. If you don't do that, just like how it was with us, the gap's going to get bigger and bigger.
I'm not touching that one. So the analysis you put together is spot on. I want to commend you for doing that. I mean, that was a really good graphic that you put up. And again, my rebuttal is pretty clear. 1991 was our apex as far as an organization, as far as overall wins was concerned. And it probably coincides with the decline of Al Davis.
Mhm.
Also in 1991, we had that loss to the Bills in the snow as far as our playoff prospects were concerned. And then we kind of ceased being a playoff contender up until 2000, where we lost to the Ravens, the Saragusa flop. Then the following year, we lost because of the coincidental Patriot team following September 11, beating us in the Tuck Rule game. Okay. And then 2002, our window was about to close and we make it to play the Buccaneers in the 2002 Super Bowl, and we lose in a blowout, playing the head coach who orchestrated the exact offense that he coached against in the Super Bowl. I mean, it's almost like playing your 7-year-old daughter at checkers. You taught her how to play, so you know what she's going to play because you're beating at the game that you taught her.
Yep.
So that was ironic. And then Al really descends and then he dies in 2011. So for 20 years, you watch the decline of the patriarch of the organization, and our wins and our draft picks kind of coincide with his slipping into darkness. So your graphic really illustrates and pinpoints when Al's cheese started to slip off cracker. And as much as we love and respect him, Father Time is undefeated, and the organization started to lose as Al lost his faculties to Father Time. Call me crazy, but that's a correlation I'm taking away from what you just put up.
Yep.
And it took the Chiefs 32 years to catch up. Think about that for a second. For all the trash they want to talk, it took them
Congratulations.
32 years. Thank you. To take the inside
I-
track and cross the finish line. Well, kudos to them.
And here's the funny thing. There's only one division or one decade that we dominated in that gave us those numbers.
70s.
The 70s. Everything else, it took a span of that of just one decade, followed with other decades where other people were dominant. to finally catch us.
1000%. The Dolphins were undefeated in 1972, and for the 70s, they still fell way short of us as far as their winning percentage for the 70s, and that was their glory period too. A lot of people like to, you know, hold up the Dolphins. No, they've sucked more than we have. They just had one great season. Actually, they had three great seasons, but one where they went undefeated. From 1970 to 1973, the Dolphins were the bee's knees. Then the Raiders took over. Then the Steelers closed out the decade. And throughout it all, the Raiders still had a far better win percentage than the Dolphins or the Steelers, despite the number of Super Bowls that both of those teams won. They're 4-1. I mean, how deep they want to get with it. I mean, a lot of people know current stats and events and stuff like that. Nah, man, we're Raider fans, man. We can go as deep as you want to with football lore, with football, rivalry, with great games. I mean, okay, I'm here for it. How many great games do you recall that the Chargers have had in their history? That one playoff game where they beat the Dolphins. That's about it.
Yep.
You're not talking about the all-time great games for the Broncos. What, 1997 and 98, whenever Terrell Davis, put the team up.
Oh, really? Damn. Well, hang on, guys. Hang on. This is just a. I'm going to be upgrading sooner or later. I'm going to upgrade now. This is ridiculous. I apologize, guys. We'll wrap this up in a second.
Yeah, man, I was a bit rant too, bro.
I'm apparently I need to go and buy the new Pro or something like that. I think.
Don't do that.
All right, but I apologize, guys, for that. I don't know why it's let me let me go for like 2 hours, and then suddenly it's going to not do that. But yeah, I mean, think about that though. I mean, 30 years of them clawing and scratching, and finally, basically within a span of what was that? Yeah, within that short span, they caught up. All we have to do is get that spirit back, and we're back on top.
That's right.
I mean, I don't know. I remember back in the day when the Raiders were, when back as a kid, I remember the Raiders as for their commitment to excellence, just win, baby. Raider rule number one: supremacy, intimidation, and we were the bad guys. We can get back there. Because unfortunately, right now, it's more of a commitment to self. Just win, maybe.
Yeah.
Us questioning if there is even a Raider rule. Impotence, laughable, and a team that is almost on par with the Browns and the Lions. Like, that's how far we have fallen, but it's easy. It's sports.
Well,
We can get it back.
I'm gonna piss you off with this.
Oh,
You said we're almost on par with the Browns and the Lions. We have been lapped by the Bengals, man. The Bengals have been to more Super Bowls recently than we have in the 2020s.
you're
That
not
tells you everything you need to know. The
You're
Bengals have passed.
you're not wrong. You're not wrong at all.
Right, man, at all.
Like,
Terrible.
and like again, as a kid, you used to see you saw that your team had that commitment to excellence, where they were gonna be the best they can be plus more. That they were gonna hone their craft to perfection. No
Hmm.
matter what they were gonna do, they were gonna win. Didn't matter how many penalties were on the field against us, we were gonna win.
They weren't cool with losing.
They the
We lose now, it's just like, ho hum.
a
Let's
good
exchange jerseys and take pictures and pray at half field after the game. No,
a
the
good
former Raiders, those 70s and 80s Raiders, oh man, they fight, they throw a helmet at you. I mean, you think Alzato's doing any of that stuff?
the here's one thing that I see, and I'm taking it from a TV show that I watched. They hated to lose.
Yes.
It wasn't that they loved winning. They hated to lose. Al Davis hated to lose.
Yes.
They need to get back to that.
Yeah.
Whether they can or not, who knows? I know one thing. Who could possibly potentially be one of our owners, maybe or maybe not. He still needs to get approved. But Tom Brady don't hate. He hates to lose.
Yeah.
Tom Brady hates losing.
He hates to lose.
Davis
Hell,
needs
he's
to
still
just.
pissed off he lost his soul to the devil.
Yeah, yeah. But not only that, but Raider.
Allegedly.
Yeah, but not only that, but also again, my favorite. This is my favorite all-time favorite thing for the Raiders. Raider rule number 1:
Yeah.
cheating is encouraged. Rule number 2. See rule number 1. What is it about? Matt Millen said it the best. It is do whatever it takes to win. If
Yes.
you if someone draws a line in the sand, you put your toes on that line, and then you try to sneak that toe up even more just to see how far you can get away with.
Or you do a kick him in the head, Ted Hendricks, or an
Yeah.
Alzado, or a Tuzak, or an Upshaw. You just
Yeah.
throw the sand in their face.
Yeah.
Okay, I see your sand. Now, here, have a face full of it.
Yeah. And if they're not, I mean, look what the Philadelphia Eagles did with that QB sneak.
Yeah.
They took something that made people cry foul, and the league couldn't do anything about it until the offseason. Now they're finally implementing helping the runner and everything. But that's what the Raiders need to do. They need to find something that they can take advantage of, use it to force the league to have to change it. I mean, look at how we had to do the pads, the stick 'em. I mean,
You know,
it's all in those
I owe an
NFL
apology.
specials.
Our quarterback fumbling the ball out of the end zone. Finally, they're changing that rule to where it's not an automatic touchback. So we're doing our part. We really are.
Yeah. Oy. But you know what? That's the thing, though. For all those who are watching or are going to be watching the playback of this, you got to remember that we do have faith in our team. We do. It's just that there's some people they're going to jump on the wagon, screaming and hollering and cheering and stuff like that. I'm going to be there on the wagon, but I'm going to be grumbling the entire way. Because I see things that, you know what? We all see things that we know ain't right, and we're going to call them out for it.
I
Because
think I want to go to the Detroit game.
you're going to go to the Detroit game?
I think I want to because I think we play on the 30th of October, and spending a little bit of my formative years in the greater Detroit area. That's Devil's Night. And if you've never
Mm.
experienced Devil's Night, where they would use to burn a good portion of the city, I'm telling you, man, that's going to be a crazy pregame atmosphere. I think that, yeah, I'm definitely feeling that Detroit game.
I,
Shout out to the 313, by the way. It's good stuff.
mm.
What game
Unfortunately,
you think about going to?
I ain't going to no games, unfortunately. I'm going to be, most likely, I'm going to be training down in the lower 48 somewhere for, for ATP. So my mind is going to be focused on nothing but flying. Once I start, once I actually get up in the air and I finally got a commercial pilot's license and I'm flying for someone, then I'll consider going to a game. But until then, I better just keep myself grounded and watching, apparently watching YouTube TV now, because
Okay.
because I'm sick and tired of Fubo TV. They don't show any Raider games at all. No, it doesn't matter if I VPN it either.
Really?
Yep. Even with the VPN, they won't show Raider games.
Crazy.
They'll go, "Oh, here's a Rams and a Seahawks game." And I was like, "No."
That's just terrible, man.
I tell you, being a fan up in here in Alaska is hard. When
It's
you
hard living up there. That's what they say, man.
hmm
Alaska's just hard, period, man. You got my respect, man.
Well, don't worry, I'm gonna be down. I'm coming down real soon. So yeah,
Yeah, you got
definitely gonna be
a
eyeing up.
little bit like Delta living in Salt Lake City. It's like Alaska light.
Nah. If anything, I'll definitely go down to Texas, something like that. We'll hit each other
Come
up.
on down, come on down, man. Texas is great, except for summertime, and it's summertime here, 7 months out of the year.
Oh yeah.
Oh man, it's hot down here, player, but it's a great area to live, man.
hmm
Great area to live, no doubt about it.
All righty, Q. Do you have any final thoughts at all?
Yeah, the Chiefs suck. I wake up hating the Chiefs. I go to sleep hating the Chiefs. The Chiefs are overrated. The Chiefs should get swept by the Raiders. I see a split, but the uncommon split. We went up there, they went down here. And I'm just really excited about the upcoming season. We'll talk more in the days and weeks to come. The roster's coming together. And I think the offensive line will pleasantly surprise. Their progression from last season, from inception to the last game where we went 6-11, the unit was really, really solid, uh, which provided less of an excuse for our former quarterback and his failings. Yet we had the best running back performance wise in the league, largely in part to that particular position group really, really coming together. Really can't wait to see what they're going to do. Looking forward to the linebacking core, the secondary with the addition of Peters. Uh, Want to see who's going to win the two spots with the five safeties we've got on roster. That's going to be a nice competition. Like you had mentioned before, the punting game, as far as coverage, is going to be a concern. Like what Carlson is going to bring back to the table. Gentlemen, worldwide, ladies, Raiderettes, our team will be better. I mean, if you talk about it, Graham's got more ingredients to cook with on the defensive side of the ball. And we didn't give up that many 30-point games last year. And we lost 7 games by 7 points or less, 5 of which were 3 points or less. So you put all of that in the mix. I think whether we like it or not, McDaniels has a semblance of a clue, and Jimmy G, if we can keep him on the field, can orchestrate whatever madness McDaniels has under that visor in order for us to be a winning organization. I just see it that way. I've looked at it 360. I've tried to fanboy it, but honestly, we're going to be better. The rest of the division's going to be better, but I think we're up to the task. It's what we do with our non-division games that's going to pull the wagon to see if we're 9-8 or better, or 8-9 and below. So that's my 2 cents for this week. Kiljadis, appreciate you having me on. I like the analysis you put together on the Excel. Hey, and just win, baby.
All right. Well, thank you, Q, for coming on and everything. Again, hopefully we can get some more guys on here. Again, it's all about scheduling and everything. We all have busy people and whatnot. But again, we're gonna get more Sin City 7 up here. So don't you worry about it. Please stay tuned. And again, if you guys are watching, stay tuned. We're gonna be back for more.
When do you broadcast? Before you sign off, when do you broadcast so everybody out there in the ether can know when to tune in?
We gonna be broadcasting these things every weekend. Definitely gonna be around. We're gonna always try to shoot for 3 p.m. Alaska Standard Time, which that's 4 o'clock Pacific. All the way to around 7 o'clock Eastern, I believe. So again, stay tuned for that. Let us know what you think in the comments down below, if and everything. And of course, again, if you are actually watching this, we thank you from the bottom of our hearts. We're just here to talk Raiders and enjoy each other's time and fellowship, because we all some busy people with lives. It's good to sit down and talk Raiders every now and then. But that's it for the Sin 77 first episode. So we shall catch y'all later. Bye.